in this house, in this house, in this house, in this house.
In 1995, Kevin and Kaylee wake up one night and fumble around the dark of their house. The dimensions of the halls and rooms, once so familiar and warm, are cold, stretched, and indecipherable. The only source of light they have is an old torch and the flickering of their television. Their dad is gone and nowhere to be found, while their mum... Out of options, they approach a window to look out, a door, and escape, but then...
Where did they go?
Skinamarink is about the perversion of the childhood home. What you feel at age 5 when you get up to go to the toilet or get water, and there's no nightlight, and your eyes can't adjust to the dark. You see faces in shadows and walls. Every creak of the settling house is a croaky voice calling out for you, pulling you towards it. Many theories about Skinamarink have been proposed, one of the most common being that it's an allegory for child abuse, something nobody so young should ever have to go through, much less understand. So we view a loss of innocence through a surreal lens of someone who can only comprehend a fraction of what they're experiencing. And while there are many points that support and contradict this argument, it won't be what I talk about here. I want to talk about Skinamarink's setting, the house, and the character it exudes, or rather, the twisted, contorted version of its character presented to us. It is, despite being set in the 90s and using a lot of analog horror aesthetics, complete with minimalist dialogue and scratchy film filters, still feels extremely modern in comparison to traditional ghost stories, set in crumbling mansions with a vengeful spirit locked inside, usually with a clear motivation for their hauntings, unfinished business, a murder, or a loved one to protect. Instead, Skinamarink's ghost is much less tangible, never seen in full, nameless, and it's so intertwined with the house that it can be considered one and the same. It takes a house that is, by all means, the opposite of what a traditional haunted house should look like. Modern, small, plenty of toys. In the daylight, it could probably even be referred to as cozy. However, slowly, this ghost takes what's familiar to these kids and steadily starts to taint it. Beginning with getting rid of their father and the doors, no immediate threat is given. Kevin and Kaylee are largely left to their own devices for the beginning of the film. While no escape is in sight, there's nothing actively terrorizing them. All they can do is stew in the uncertainty of the situation, of having the place they once called home, where they should be most comfortable, become a prison, where a new, unwelcome change hides around every corner. Soon, the toys and furniture begin to move, and not suddenly or violently, not in front of them, but when they don't notice. It's an easily missed change that further removes the house ever so slightly from their old lives and reality. Another subtle shift is the television, its soft, flickering light and humming din being the one small sense of familiarity and comfort to the two of them, playing jolly, older cartoons with wistful music. They can't buy that TV like it's a fire, a meeting place for them to return to once they've finished a long trek through their empty house. The VHS tape playing, showing a cartoon of a dog about to pounce on a rabbit before the rabbit quickly makes itself disappear, is on repeat constantly, obsessively. Another one of the house's taunting mechanisms, mirroring how it can make anything it likes disappear and reappear at will, changing another innocent aspect of the home into a malevolent message. However, soon, the kids' mum and dad do appear, in a room furthest from their small electronic beacon. This is, to me, the most central point in the film that conveys how Skinamarink shows a twisted family portrait. A modern ghost that doesn't appear in its own independent form, but in the ugly, uncanny version of what you hold dear.
Dad?
Like Kevin and Kaylee, their parents' faces are never shown, but nonetheless, Kaylee, alone, seems relieved to see her dad approaching him. However, both she and the audience quickly realise that something is wrong. He's her dad, but he barely acknowledges her. No hug, no I love yous, no comfort. He just sits, motionless, and asks her. For the first time, a common staple of horror. In a dragging point-of-view shot, we and Kaylee peer under the bed to see nothing but grainy darkness. When Kaylee resurfaces, we see her mum, facing opposite her. She blankly, cryptically assures Kaylee that she loves her and Kevin very much, before asking her to close her eyes. Kaylee does so, and is greeted with, what sounds like the wet crunch of bone. For most people, this won't be the scariest part of the film. Maybe the scariest part to them was the shot of blood on the carpet that disappears and reappears, the toy phone's stare pouring into the audience, or the fuzzy, unknowable face seen in the very last shot of the film. For me, it will be the motionless backs of the people two vulnerable children rely on, a moment of hope and familiarity that is snatched away when we see that they are little more than rigid puppets being controlled by an unseen force, another icon of childhood warmth that's been corrupted and distorted beyond recognition.
Love you. Love you too.